Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life. gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's our video game catch-up. A second one for May 2024. Purely because, while we did, I think the plan was kind of monthly, as that would give us enough time to play games and so on. It turns out in the last couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks since the last one, I played a fair bit and you played a fair bit. So yeah, we're going to give you an update, talk about some of the games we've been playing recently, talk about the achievements we've been earning and where we sit and what we've been enjoying and so on. So I'm actually going to start with one because it calls back to the previous video where you said you played a game called Open Roads, and I then went and found Open Roads and played it myself. Then wrote a review for it on the site as well. Don't know if you read it, yeah? Yep, it was pretty much as you described. Took me maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer because I got so bored through it. Yeah, I didn't love it. I like games like that. I'm a big narrative-driven game, and I've got no problem with very little gameplay if it's the type of game I want to play. So totally comfortable with that. The issue for me is, if you're going to do that, that narrative needs to be strong. Like, I mean, really, really strong. It needs to really keep me invested and interested, not to the point where I want to skip it. The only reason I didn't skip a lot of text, because there's a lot of it, was because I was recording it for playthrough on the YouTube channel. So I was letting the text play out. So people, if you watch something on YouTube, you can see the whole story play out, so to speak. But I wasn't interested. I spent more time sort of lying on my couch over there, playing on my phone, while particularly the car journey parts and all that. But then you'd get to the gameplay elements, and they were crap. They were crap. I felt like she's so slow. And that's fine again because of walking sim and aspects like that. But yeah, by the end of it, I went, it's fine. It looks nice. Highest praise to the voice actors who were phenomenal. But I realised that by the end of it, I was like, I didn't feel this. I just didn't feel it. So I hit it right in the middle. I think I gave it a 5 out of 10. And then that was it. Yeah. So I played Open Worlds 2. It's an easy completion, barring one thing, which I do find irritating as well, is that it's an easy completion provided you kind of follow a guide, because there are missables. There are ones that you wouldn't necessarily think to do, like fucking with the radio in the car and stuff like that. It's like that. So yeah, not the worst game you'll ever play, but far from the best. So yeah, that was my Open Worlds. And I'm going to roll it into continuing from the last video. Obviously, at the time I talked about the Dead Island 2 DLC. What was it called? Oh, 4 letters, begin with an S. Sopa? I've forgotten what it's bloody called. Sopa? Sova? Fuck, what is it? Oh, it's going to bug me now. I've got to look it up. I've got to look it up. Oh,
still haven't played it yet.
Fuck, what is it? House is the first. Solar. So it's close enough. Solar. I finished that. And if I was to review a DLC pack on its own, this would get a 5. A 5 or a 6 at most. And it's purely because what I complained about previously doesn't change. It's the location is excellent. I love the increased difficulty. I found a lot of it quite challenging. But at the end of it, I realised there was no extra quests. There's no real extra characters barring one. And the end boss of that DLC is one of the hardest bosses I've fought in that game. I hated that final fight. If you've done it, you know what it is. You know it's an invincible enemy that you need to do activate these things, these balls, to then weaken. But they're so fucking powerful. They're so powerful that I spent more time running around this tiny map area, the arena where you're fighting him, trying to just let my health refill, just so I could get a couple of hits in. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all. However, if you're, as far as like achievements go, they're actually really easy. Like, they're really easy. The ones that are related to the weapons ended up being really simple as well. I
don't think it's worth the price at the moment for the DLC.
No, fair enough. I think obviously if you got the season pass at the time, or if you bought it when that comes cheap, but then there's no point now because you'd be paying more for that because you've already got House. I don't think it's worth the price either. I didn't necessarily think House was either, but I like House more.
Yeah, because I think a standard DLC is about £8. I did that after like 12, 13 quid for a DLC. I think I was pushing it, I think.
Okay, so I do get it though, right? This isn't just like, here's a couple of extra quests in the main game. It is a whole massive brand new area. There needed to be more in that area, but like House was better quest-wise. This one, Solar, is so much better then better location-wise.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. If it had been a bit more going on there, in fact, there's an argument to say a huge portion of the game could have been here. More characters and all of that, because it's really fucking big. But yeah, so I finished that up, so that's me done with Dead Island 2 again. All right, you got one?
Well, I'm going to start with the other one, but Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah, finally finished it now. I think I said to you off camera before that I preferred Fallout 3, but I've changed my mind now. So, base game Fallout New Vegas is way heads of a hill of a Fallout 3, but the only thing that I don't like about New Vegas is the DLC. I think the DLC in New Vegas is absolutely terrible compared to the DLC in Fallout 3.
Right, remind me of some of the DLCs in New Vegas. It's been a long time.
Okay, so you got the obvious one, which I can't stand. It's called the Gun Runner, where it's the one where you got to get 10,000 points with this gun.
Oh, yeah.
I really hate games that do that because it's so basic and bland. It's too easy.
It's not that exciting.
So that one I didn't like. And there's one which should have been good, but it's so terrible. It's called Dead Money or Dead Space. It's the one where you have to wear a collar around your neck, and
I vaguely remember
if you go too close to your alarms, they beep and then your head explodes.
Right, I vaguely remember.
It was just so difficult, especially because the fact that you had to do that achievement where keep it on hard mode the entire game. Otherwise, if you turn it off once, you lose the achievement. But compared to the DLC in Fallout 3. The mountain and all that with the aliens and stuff like that. I prefer the DLC in 3 compared to New Vegas.
Fair enough.
Don't get me wrong, it's a great game. It'll be a while before I start number 4.
There's a lot, number 4.
Yeah, because obviously, again, once I completed that game, I had my usual. I can't be bothered now.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously, I played a few smaller games after that. So.
You'll get to Fallout 4 quicker. I wouldn't surprise me if next time we do a video like this in April, you'll be like, I've started Fallout 4, because it's all there, of course, with the DLC, and it's on Game Pass. So you might even be tempted just because it may not stay in Game Pass forever. But then, mind you, Microsoft are on the studio nowadays. So
I've got the game too, so the discs are...
There you go. Another small one for me, and similar to Open Roads, I went through some of my old games that I had sort of installed and just sort of sitting there, and I came across one called Paper Ghost Stories 7 PM, and I was like, okay, let me have a look at this one and see what kind of game this is, and so on. It took me an hour overall, and that was only because a specific... Now, that's for like 100% completion, all the achievements, and that only took an hour because there was a specific one that I had to restart because I didn't like... The description didn't match what you need to do, and I ended up doing it wrong twice in a row. But then, restarting it and then skipping up to that point was quick. It's a simple. Even on Steam, the company describes it as a sort of like a prologue to a bigger game that's going to come later, which apparently is in the works according to Steam. I don't know any more details than that. So in theory, this game's only about 30 minutes long overall. About that, it's very, very cheap. Simple narrative adventure. Narrative set in a little apartment block, paper, it's using Malaysian mythology around ghosts and stuff like that, so you'll get a bit of that sort of Far East horror elements to it, but they're all like paper figures. You do some puzzles, you do the story, and that's the end of it. Nothing special here. I thought it was really well done for what it was, and I think it does some generally brilliant scares, some generally brilliant, and some of the visuals look amazing, but there's nothing much to it, so yeah.
I've not heard that one. So I've gone for again some Game Pass, but it's called Spirits of the North.
I think I know, I've seen it. Yeah,
it's like you're a fox in it. I mean, again, it's pretty straightforward completion, about 3 hours for the 4,000. But if you're after a very peaceful, relaxing game, this game is...
You just said 4,000.
For the 1,000. So,
for the 1,000,
yeah, for the 1,000,
right,
yeah.
I was going to say, it was a 4,000 gamer score.
No, literally, the 1,000 gamer score for about 3 hours. Very peaceful game. The only thing that has got a problem with is that, if you remember Medieval back on the PS1, specifically the pirate level, the controlling of the cameras and the jump, it's such a pain in the arse. You'll try and jump straight forward, and the camera will send you the one way.
Right, it's a bad camera.
Yeah, that's the only problem. But you can't die. There's no enemies. It's just basically like a linear path and doing collectibles, and you're a fox.
So, it sounds boring.
I mean, it's a piece. It's got lovely music. It's quite a peaceful game, and it's a pretty decent story. You're a fox trying to find your ancestral spirit fox and stuff So
I swear I've played something similar to that. I don't know if I don't know if it's the same game that I played maybe many years ago, but I remember playing as a fox, and it's like it's got a kind of wispy art style, and like you're following orbs.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I have played exactly the same game. I'm not sure. The last sort of small game I want to mention that I recently completed is the latest in the Argonauts Agency series. So these are these games, I think you've seen them, from Big Fish or Little Fish, whatever, that are like resource management games. The resource management games where you're just sending characters to collect stuff and then you complete the level and so on. Normally 50 levels and all that. There are tons of them. Tons of them across many different stories and elements like that. The current one they seem to be working on is Argonauts Agency. They're up to number 6. I love these games. I reviewed quite a few of them in the past. I've stopped reviewing them because basically they're all the fucking same game, but with a new skin. But they're super fun, super relaxing to play. They've got weirdly even more relaxing these days, because back in the day, the older games used to have like, oh, complete all the levels with 3 stars, get all the achievements and stuff like that, and you'd have to do it on a timer. Nowadays, all the games seem to have the same one, which is basically collect a certain amount of resource. Which you'll do as you play through the levels, but you can get all the achievements by level 20. So there's nothing, you know, if you're already after your achievements, there's nothing to drive you on. Even still, it'll still take you a couple of hours, but I love these games. And this one, it's just another one of them. Number 6, Missing Daughter. The stories are irrelevant. It's you know what I always love about them? I think they do fucking phenomenal music, and I think the music always plays really well with the relaxation aspect of the game. I love these games. So when this one came up, when I saw number 6, and each one, do you know what the best thing is? Each one normally costs I think it's £4.19.
That's the price, yeah.
That's it, £4.19. So and like if you clicked on one of the games, right, and then looked at what the company made, I'm pretty sure they've got like 50 of them. Like all spread across different ones. And there are a few, warning now, there are a few that are outright terrible. That are just really badly made where they fucked with the formula too much. But the majority are just good games. I just really like them. So that's another completion I did recently.
Cool. I'm going to do 2 and 1 because it's like 1 and 2. But it's a game which I would never really touch. But it's Costume Quest 1 and 2.
I love Costume Quest. These games are the balls.
Yeah, so I said it's. The first one, because it was only 250 games, so I was like...
it's an old Xbox 360
exactly,
one,
and obviously it was 200 gaming score with 50 for the DLC, and the DLC is free of it.
Robins are nice.
Yeah. So, and I was surprised how actually good they were. Pretty, again, easy completion, you know, maybe 4 to 6 hours for both games.
Yeah.
You know, second one's obviously 1,000 gaming score too. You know, but I was surprised actually how enjoyable
they're great, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, I did prefer the first one to the second one, only because I didn't like the battles in the second one. I hate games where you have to press the button at the exact time to get the timing correct. I preferred the battle.
The turn-based system.
And obviously the fact that you didn't heal up in the first one, every battle you healed up. The second one you had to go find a fountain to drink the water and stuff like that. But I would hope there'll be a number 3 at some point. You know,
I doubt it. Number two, I swear it's like a 7 or 8 year old game already.
Really?
I think Double Fine, the company behind them, they tend not to do too many sequels. They tend just to move on and create something else.
Yeah, good game there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of them. In fact, we will eventually cover them in they made what into a TV series because there's a Costume Quest TV series. In fact, we've tried to do it previously, but we abandoned it because it wasn't really working without any knowledge. But there's like a season 1, and that's all, and then a Christmas special.
Okay.
So definitely have to do that now. Now that you're aware of the characters and things like that. That's cool. Okay, we've got to start hitting some of the big ones. Right, now, let me throw this one out first. Forza Motorsport, the latest Forza game. I continue to play it, basically. Every so often, I just like to jump on and do a race or two. I fucking love it. I am not a car guy. I drive a car, but I'm not a car guy. I have no I don't see someone driving past in an expensive car and go, ooh, I couldn't give a shit. I just want a decent car that gets me to A to B and doesn't break down. But Forza calls to a part of me, and the level, obviously, how they feel and how they drive and the challenge that comes with that, I just find myself thoroughly enjoying it. It's a big game with a lot of stuff to do. And obviously it's ever-expanding game. It's a game that's basically started off quite bare, and they keep adding to it. And they're just going to keep doing that and keep doing that. So, like, I don't ever expect to complete it, but what it is just every so often, I'm not even thinking about the completion. I'm just like, right, let me go on and do an event and keep building them up as I go along. Because some races obviously take a long time, some take less and stuff like that. I just thoroughly enjoy it. I really enjoy Forza Motorsport.
You've always liked Forza, yeah?
I've always had a thing for Forza, yeah. I've played a fair few of them over the years.
Because I think before that, you like the Rid Racer type for you?
I've always, actually, you are right. I've always had more of an appeal.
Yeah.
I like two styles of driving games. I like the really realistic ones. So I was a big fan of Ridge Racer and stuff like that. The ones that really use imaginative cars and things like that. That is one, and the second is karting games. Those are the dumb. They're my two.
Yeah, Formula 1 was the only ones I really play, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more small one, and then I've got a bigger one which I've started. So I'll do the small one, which I completed yesterday. Again, it's a Firewatch.
Oh, Firewatch, the tower one.
Yeah,
I played it.
It's surprisingly very, very. I love the story. It was very, very dark and suspense until the ending of the game, which was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible ending. But again, it's easy completion, an hour and a half to 2 hours for the full 1,000. But peaceful game, shit ending. Yeah.
I know it. Yeah, I played it as well and completed it too. And yeah, I actually agree with you. I wanted more from that in the end. I kind of felt that they were building up to something that could be a little bit more horror-based.
Yeah.
And it didn't really pan out that way. I found myself let down by the ending. I did enjoy it too, though. I like Firewatch.
It was very suspense. It was like you're being stalked.
Yeah.
It was like really.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was gone. So yeah, I agree. I'm going to leave the biggest game I've got till the end, but I'm going to chuck in Little Kitty Big City, which has just appeared on Gamecast.
I've seen it, yeah.
Right. I love it. But my God, is it a flawed game? I think it's right. So it's obviously playing on that recent surge of cat-based games, but this one's a lot smaller, a lot more localized, and there's got a lot of imagination. It's a fairly straightforward completion. There is a glitch that a lot of people talk about. Now, I thought I ran into that glitch, but it turned out I didn't. But even then, that glitch is easily passable by a certain way. I'll explain what that is in a minute. You complete quests, get power-ups to eventually climb back up to your home, and that's the game over. You could actually do that part on a replay. You could actually do from the point where you start to where you finish the game in probably around 20 minutes. That's how short it can be.
Okay, yeah.
But that is not how you'll play it in the first. It doesn't, because you won't know where you're going, you won't know what to do, and so on. And some of the side quests and all of that stuff and all that. The achievements are really fucking imaginative. I praise what they did with the achievements. Some people have complained about how, I swear people have forgotten how to enjoy games. They're like, oh, this achievements are done. Why have I got to put 100 cans in a recycling bin? I found, that I did it without even trying. Admittedly, I found out too late I had to do that. Because what's really cool is it actually tells you in-game what the achievements are.
Okay, yeah.
So, like a menu, and it tells you with it counters what you've done. You need to put 100 cans in the recycling bin. But that's really easy, because A, there's tons of cans around the place. But also, running and headbutting vending machines drops them. But also, you quit out of the game and come back in, all the recycling cans that were in those vending machines respawn.
Okay, yeah,
so, it's stuff that's really easy. The one I thought was a little bit harder was the one to get pictures taken. But again, it's pretty straightforward once you know what you're doing and all of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The issues relate to, I find the controls a little frustrating. And for a game that involves a lot of climbing, there were a couple of times where I fell from great heights, and I was just like, that wasn't even,
Yeah.
But like all games, you kind of adapt to it in the end, and I found myself adapting to it and being more careful because of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, the glitched achievement or glitch is related to the bird's nest. There are 10 that you have to find and knock off.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
You'll go around and so and that kind of thing, right? I got to the end and had 9 out of 10. I watched the video, went back through everything, or thought I went back through everything, and didn't find it, so thought it was glitched. The way to get around that is start a brand new game. Because it's really familiar, you can literally fly through it. I was doing that. And I got to the 5th one I was supposed to get, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't recognise that. So I loaded up my old game,
and it was there.
And it was fucking there. So I didn't even have to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll take you a couple of hours, but I think it's a really well-made game with a lot of heart and soul in it. The only other thing I'd say that I'm a little hit and miss about is, my God, for a game like it has way too much dialogue. And there's a running joke about the characters you're talking to, like ducks and all that, speaking like fucking Shakespearean style, lengthy, you're tempted just to just to get through it.
Yeah.
But well worth playing.
Yep.
And like I said, a couple of hours and it's an easy completion.
Have
Have you got any small ones?
I've got one more small one, which I didn't put down here because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm going to mention it. So it's against some Game Pass, but it's called A Little to the Left.
Okay.
Now it's a puzzle-based game.
Mm-hmm.
Good game, but it has got one annoying achievement. Oh, sorry, it's got one annoying achievement. But
tell me the game first before you go on the achievement.
It's a puzzle game basically. It's going through like you might have like loads of jars and broken picture frames you've got to put together. It's like 50 different puzzles. Straightforward. The base game is straightforward. It's got DLC too. Obviously, it's not free. You've got to pay for it. But the annoying achievement is about 8 achievements set to just like one thing. So basically, you got to play it for 100 days, and it's. So every day there's a new daily task put on for one daily puzzle.
Oh,
yeah, but
fuck that.
And the hard thing about it is that it's different for everyone else. So if you get to one puzzle, and so there's the first 6 achievements are you have to be done every. So like the first one is 7 achievements. You have to do 7 in a row. You miss one day, you got to do it all again. Then the next one is 15 in a row.
Oh, so it's 100 days in a row. You must do it.
At 30 it stops. At 30 you can take a break for a week. And then come back to it. But if you miss up, so for example, like last night, I've got 4 more to reach my 30. So last night, I had one last night, and because it's random for everyone, so there's no guides online. You can't find a guide for it.
Yeah, it's randomised.
Everyone has a different one. So this one last night, I started it, and it was a jar-based one. We got to put the jars in the right pattern. That was fine. I did the first way. There's some of them where you got to do it in 2 different ways. The second way, I couldn't do it. I stood there for ages, looking for ages. I was getting so pissed. For about 4 hours, I had a pen and paper drawing different things. I couldn't do it. And I turned off. I gave up. But I turned it on literally about half an hour before my 24 hours were up for the next one. And I managed to do it, thankfully. But I need 4 more just to reach the 30, and then
you can at least do it in your own time.
Whenever I want to. But
what a stupid system.
I hate games to do that. To make it,
turn your play the game on this certain date. It's Disney Dreamlight Valley. The one I said the every day I now just get on to do the thing. I mean, I've already given up. I cannot be bothered. Every so often, like I haven't done it in about 5 days. I might do it here and there. There
are ways around it. If you're on a PC, you can change the date.
So yeah.
But obviously, because it's on Xbox don't allow you to do it. You can't change the date to speed it up.
But even still, my God, that would so lengthy. I wouldn't even play a game like that. I wouldn't bother. I
turn it on for 5 minutes. I did a task, and then I play another game.
You say that, but then you look what you just got stuck with. That took you a lot longer.
That one there took me, but I know I've only got 4 more, and that was the hardest one I've had in throughout the entire game. So. But
we'll see then in what's that'll be. So that'll be 76 days then. 76 days to see where you're at. My last small one, Little Gator game. You've seen it on Game Pass. Aimed at children, of course, with a bit more substance for adults. Nice art style, really easy to play. Thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, literally as of the time of recording, I finished it this morning, and I love this. So like, I rarely look at achievements before I start a game, unless I'm going from a hard drive and I'm looking at games that I downloaded years ago, and I'm like, right, what's a quick completion? That kind of thing. And I jumped in a Little Gator game without really looking too much into it. Simple enough. Explore an island. You're a kid who wants to play with his big sister who's doing some work, so he's trying to get his friends involved to create an imaginative world on his island to encourage her. The message of the game is both that he has to accept that she's growing up, but she also needs to accept that sometimes it's okay to take a break. That's the message at the end. Very, very simple stuff, very sweet stuff, elements like that, nothing too deep. But when I decided to finally stop and go, right, let me have a look at what actually I need to do to 100% this, I came across what I thought was one that was like, what? And it was destroy everything on the island. All across the island are like monsters, but like they're cardboard monsters. So you smash them with your sword and stuff like that. Easy as that. They are everywhere. But also like they blend in and elements like that. And I like as you're going for the game, you're knocking loads out and you'll be smashing them everywhere you go. But I was like, oh my God, what happens when there's like 1 or 2 left? It's not a big island, but also there's no map.
So you'll be
so and I'm like, okay, right, you do quickly, thanks to the game system of what it does is it puts things tall and makes that your markers. But I was like, oh my God, this is like, that's a really crap achievement. Folks, chill. Do not worry. The people behind this game, So, finish it. Finish the game. Finish all the quests. Won't take you too long to finish all the quests. And at the end of those quests, you're given 2 items. One of them, because another achievement is to get everyone back to your village. So, like, invite all friends to your village. So you meet strangers in the outside, and you complete a quest for them. They'll come back. You'll get 2 items. One of them is a megaphone, which when you activate, indicates where the next quest giver is, this person is. So you'll see their dialogue pop up far away. Just go to where they are. The other one is a mobile phone, which when you text, then is your friend, then gives you an indication of where the next nearest thing to break is.
Okay.
And basically, you just go around the island and all that. And you might think, well, that'll still take you a while. Couldn't believe it. By the end, it took me 15 minutes to go around finishing up everything. Because by that point, you have everything unlocked. You've got full stamina, so a lot of it's climbing, and you've got to find bracelets that increase your stamina. Find all 4, and you'll have infinite stamina. That combined with the glider, like I'm fucking flying across the island like I'm Link, which is the joke is he wants to be like that, and I'm doing all that. It took me. So like, don't worry. You see that? Do not worry. Just play through the game. Smash everything you come across, because you might as well do as much as you can on the way. But don't go out of your way trying to find them, because come the end of the game, it'll make it so simple for you. You know, a good example of how straightforward the achievement is like after you've got the 4 bracelets. So they're the hard ones, actually, to be fair, because they're not indicated anywhere. So you do just have to hunt her down.
Yeah.
But you get those, and he comes back to your village. There are like 5 or 6 achievements related to just talking to that character in a row. It's about finding out their name. And you talk to them over and over again, and they keep telling you the different names until it's revealed. They won't tell it. That's the kind of stuff. Yeah. It'll take you 2-3 hours max, but also it's a nice game. So I do recommend that one. Well worth playing. No glitches, no issues. Really simple, really straightforward, very easy, just enjoyable. Definitely aimed at a younger audience.
Is it Game Pass?
Yeah, Game Pass. Yeah, a little gated game.
Okay,
have a look later on.
I'll look at it. So
the big ones?
Yeah, my last one is a big one, which I started. I haven't completed it yet because it's in between of it. But it's I find it's Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, in my opinion, it's other than the first one, it's the best Star Wars game I've ever played. You know, it's graphically beautiful. You know, controlling obviously Cal Custer, Star Wars.
Cal Kestis.
Yeah. Brilliant Star Wars game. I loved the battles, but my biggest gripe, sorry, I've got 2 gripes of it. Okay, one, they still haven't changed the mapping system. Absolutely terrible, and the areas are so big this time. The worlds are so massive, and it's the usual, like, you're on the top floor, but you think you're on the bottom. It's the usual pain, and there's still all the collectibles. But my biggest gripe, and I'm glad I read up before I played it, they have a missable achievement in this game. And it's one which is like halfway in the game, so you miss that achievement. You potentially, like Fallout, you might have to do an entire game
What's
again.
What's the missable achievement?
So there's a period in it where you'll have a teammate with you, and you've got to order that teammate to attack the enemies 10 times. But you have 2. So the first guy, you'll have.
I'm going to interrupt you here. Who told you that's missable?
I read it online.
Well, I can jump in it, because not only have I played Jedi Survivor, I finished it this week, 100%ed, and Merrin, are you up to the point where Merrin's back?
Yeah, I had it in. Obviously, you've had a Bode.
Yeah, Bode. Yeah,
he's in the first sort of chapter area. Then you have obviously Merrin in the desert, the desert planet.
Yeah, later in the game, Merrin continues to come with you in the desert.
Oh, okay. Well, they go. So what I read was completely wrong. Then where was it? So
I'm not aware of it being missable.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it being missable. Am I right or wrong? When I went back to clean up, every time I went into the desert area, Merrin was with me.
Oh, okay. Well,
obviously. How far into it are you?
I think I'm heading to the moon planet.
The shattered moon.
Shattered
right,
moon,
so you're way too early on.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid spoilers here, story, plot, spoilers. Okay, so I have a lot of input here, because not only have I played it too, I've 100%ed it. I probably sunk about 60 hours into it by the end. It's a fairly large, substantial game. I think first off, I think you're actually wrong about the map. The map is improved. One of my biggest complaints about the original Star Wars game was the map. And part of the problem with that was because they went for this weird retro look where it kept flashing and whatever. That's gone. It now stays solid.
Yeah.
It's also much clearer this time to understand what levels you're on, because of just simple menu selections and all that. It feels overwhelming at first, but that's purely because of the amount of shit that's going on.
Yeah.
Now, as you progress, and you will obviously find certain items that will show all different things in your maps,
Yeah.
and there's ways to actually show everything in your map. All the pyrite shards, chests, all of that there can appear in your map. You've got to find the item for it.
Yeah.
But when you get to the end game, everywhere's free for you to go. Everything's available for you to do, and elements like that.
I gather that. Yeah.
Seeds are even available. Seeds and stuff like that. All of that makes it a hell of a lot easier. To me, it's more straight. I had to say, when I first started and I landed on Kolba, I felt so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my god, it's open. Like, this is an open world area. Yeah. It's fucking huge, and apparently I can do everything. I've got to bring people back. I've got quests to go. I've got bounties. I've got a fucking garden look after. It felt really overwhelming.
Yeah.
But like, let it sit and bring it in. All the other worlds, Jeddah, Shattered Moon, all of those, Coruscant, they're way more linear. It's what it's worth doing. Right. Do not worry about collectibles and stuff until the end of the game, because by that point, you'll have unlocked everything. Put it this way, by the time I finished, way before I finished all the achievements, I had everything maxed out. Everything, every stance maxed out, every power, every ability maxed out. But also you unlock so many different things that make it so much easier. Yeah. There are things that you will right now have seen. Good example, where you are, you might have seen these sort of things in the air. Look like you can hook onto them. You can, eventually.
Yeah, I gather that. And obviously, at points where I've seen like there's a ship in some oil.
Yeah.
Obviously, I
you will. All stuff like that. It is one of those backtracking. Well, not so backtracking because it's open world.
Yeah.
So, like, I agree with you. It probably is the best Star Wars game I've played. The biggest thing I had, right, and this is going to be so. I'm going to sound like such a moaner here. I realised when I started, I was like, oh my god, I don't really remember anything about the first game, and I was like, that's a problem. Why don't I really remember anything about the first game? And I was like, okay. Then I was also like, okay, but this is cool, and there were elements I really, really enjoyed of this story. I really did. But then it hit a point where I was like, oh my god, this is Disney-fied Star Wars. And it does give me a lot of those vibes. There's a love story. There's a betrayal. There's all stuff like that. But do you know when I actually got angry in it? I'm going to have to do spoilers here to a degree. I won't say who it involves or anything like that. But like, it felt so lazy for them to put Darth Vader into this. Now, there was a fight with Darth Vader with a different character, not Cal, with a different character. You will play as that character, and that character will be killed by this, right? What bothered me about this fight, right? The fight's fine. Vader is what it is. This person almost kills Vader. Almost kills him. And he kind of gets lucky, I feel, to win in the end. And I was like, oh my god, why would you do that? I thought when this fight started, I was like, right, what I'll do is no doubt, I expected the BB go bang, 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 and then just get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, this is Darth Vader. Make him the fucking strongest he can be.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh my god, why have you made him look so weak? And I know you want to make this character look strong and all that, but why? That character is not in the canon of Star Wars, hence why they're being killed off at this point, and elements like that. I found it so frustrating. But the other thing as well, I didn't really love the bosses. So, Dagon, he is not the big bad. I think you might have gathered that, because he feels a bit crap, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A little bit like, oh, here's a Jedi that's gone bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who the actual bad guy is, if you want, while it is a twist, I found to be really disappointing. The only thing it does create this wonderful direction for Cal to go in, and also suggests that maybe this has to be the way it is, and how I think they can make this canon and related to what the Star Wars universe is.
Yeah.
But when it kind of realised, but also, it also makes a section look really stupid, like all characters look really stupid as well, but also doesn't make sense and gets brushed off in the most, why couldn't I sense him? Why couldn't you? Oh, nobody answers. We just move on. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, yeah, elements of that. I ended up not loving the story, but loving the world and what it allowed to do. I love the fact you can get on mounts this time. I love the wandering patrols. I love the variation in enemies. And I love the Star Wars shit. I will never get tired of going and smashing the shit. What's your favourite stance?
My favourite sort of like move, I suppose, is
No, stance. So I mean, single lightsaber,
I mean,
double bladed Darth Maul, two lightsabers.
I love my double purple lightsaber. So.
Oh, you mean? Are you talking two?
No, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul one, yeah, the single lightsaber. So I'm a two-handed saber guy.
But my favourite move is like the force pull, pulling and then stabbing it straight to the stomach.
Yeah,
absolutely
very evil, very evil. Yeah. Oh, I will say, but like things that I think they basically took what they did in the previous game and tweaked it correctly.
Yeah.
In almost every area except the fucking blaster. What a pointless weapon. And that stance I only used because there were achievements related to using a blaster. But after that stance went in the bin. Don't use it. I fucking hate that thing. Let me use my lightsaber and force abilities. That's all I care about.
I've literally just got. I just got it in my game. I got the achievement for obviously changing the equipment. I did the lightsaber and all that one. But I know there's one where you got to get 10 certain hit points.
It's very easy to do the last minute blaster shoot. Once you know how to do it, you'll find, because one of the best things they did in this is endgame. There are countless enemies. Like, you will never struggle to find enemies to do what you need to do at the end.
Yeah.
They all respawn. You've got obviously that sort of respawning thing. They all respawn in certain areas. You can go back there and do them all. But like, Damon, I'm always going to love games where it's like, I'll hunt down all the legendary enemies.
Yeah.
There is an issue with the bounties, is that I would say to you, try and do as many bounties as you go along, because I left most of my bounties to the end. And that resulted in me having to go, take the bounty. You know where the bounties are. Have you got the bounties yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, right. So there'll be a character. There's a character. She might actually give him now. She's sitting in your bar with her feet up. She's a bit rude to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
she gives you bounties.
Yeah.
And you will have. And what I was doing was I was playing for the game, and every so often I'd run into one as they were in my path. But at the end, I had about 12 left to do. There's 16 overall.
Okay, yeah.
12 left to do, and it'd be like, oh yeah, the next bounty is on Coruscant. Go on my ship, long loading screen to Coruscant, go all the way to find a bounty, kill him, go back
to
do it all again. And it got really tiresome because the loading screens, and I know it's because it's got such a high, it's 130 gig size thing and stuff like that, even though I think some of the faces are a bit weird looking and elements like that, so try and do stuff like that. Beyond that, I'd say just enjoy it and know you're in for a long one here. You don't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I knew hands down the first one I was going to do obviously was just complete the game. Because there's no point of trying to do...
Get what you get on the way.
Yeah, on the way.
That's the way. That's the best way to do it. Because you'll either run into... But by the end, it's one of those, you want all your abilities unlocked.
Yeah.
Rather than struggling to get really awkward ones and stuff like that. Because I didn't love... Talking achievement-wise, I didn't love that in the end you need to have collected all the pyrite shards. Because you need to trade them into Doma in her shop. Yeah. And I didn't love that because that felt like, you just make because none of the other collectibles are quite like that. You don't have to do all the Force Echoes. There's less Jedi temples this time, and they're all very fucking easy as well. There's one I think there was one that I got stuck on for a little while, but they're all very easy. There's nothing too complicated. There's nothing really complicated like that in it. But yeah, when you're like, go around and collect all, that's where you're like, come on.
Yeah.
My last achievement in the game was the garden one, and that's purely because I didn't understand it.
Oh, that was the seeds, where you plant the seeds.
Yeah, so, tell you right now, make sure as you play for the game, it doesn't read right. It says, because the idea is you fill up a plot, and then the gardener, when you find her, she'll unlock the next plot. And you will find the gardener en route in Jeddah. I think she's in Jeddah, en route, so she's not hidden or anything. And then she'll unlock the next plot. And then... fill that garden, she'll unlock the next plot and 4 plots eventually. I got to the 3rd plot, the 4th wouldn't unlock. Couldn't work it out. Eventually found out what the achievement doesn't specify is that in the first plot, now lots of people don't say this, but it's the only way it worked for me. So you must put all 10, you've got to have all 10 original seeds. Colour variations don't matter, but you have to have 10 seeds. Need to go in the garden, so it needs to be the 10 unique seeds. But I did that. Still couldn't unlock the 4th. I then found randomly, I think it was on Reddit, someone saying put the 10 original seeds in the first plot only. That did it. She unlocked the 4th. So yeah, keep that in mind. Find the 10 seeds, put the 10 original seeds in the first plot, fill up all the spaces, and then do the other 2 plots with whatever. And that seemed to work for me. It's why it was the last one for me. It took me the longest.
Okay.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't rate it too highly. I'd probably give it a 7 because I think it's got still problems here and there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been out for like 2 years now, I think.
Oh, it's not that long. It's less than a year.
So obviously, I'll wait until...
It's Game Pass.
Game Pass, yeah, exactly.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said I didn't play it off the back. I waited until it came out in Game
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah, I didn't want to pay for it up front because, truth be told, I never wanted to buy it out front because I didn't rate it. I didn't rate the first one high enough. I liked the first one, but I didn't go, oh my god, I can't wait to play the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we've gone 40 minutes on this, so yeah, what have you been playing? You got any thoughts on what we talked about here? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.